Hey everyone, Stan Dix here from Press for Truth. It is Wednesday, October the 26th, 2011, and it was just 1 week ago now, 1 week ago today, that I made a video called Press for Truth's Thoughts on the Occupy Movement, where I pretty much pointed out that I feel we need to be very careful about some of the directions that this movement is being led towards. And we have to be careful that some of the solutions that are going to be called for are not only going to not benefit the people, but might be something that are going to lead us towards even more control and more enslavement. And here we are 1 week later, and as you can see from the title, the Vatican has just announced that what we need is a world central bank controlled by a global authority that will oversee all financial institutions. Here you can see for yourself, I just found on CNBC, goes on to say here, the Vatican called on Monday for the establishment of a global public authority and a central world bank to rule over financial institutions. A major document from the Vatican's Justice and Peace Department should be music to the ears of the Occupy Wall Street demonstrators and similar movements around the world. And it goes on to say down here, if no solutions are found to the various forms of injustice, the negative effects that will follow on a social, political, and economic level will be destined to create a climate of growing hostility and even violence, and ultimately undermine the very foundations of democratic institutions, even the ones considered most solid. So basically what that is pretty much saying is, you know, if we don't move towards these types of solutions, then there's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be violence in the streets and things are going to get bad. Now this is exactly what I was trying to warn against and suggest that these are the kind of solutions that are not going to benefit people. It's globalization and the centralization of power into fewer hands that is the problem and has been the problem all along. It's the ability for private banks to issue currency out of thin air, numbers on the screen. It's not backed by any real precious metals, gold, silver, anything like that. This is money created out of thin air, which they are then able to charge interest on. So I feel that is one of the key things that needs to be focused on, because this is precisely the goal of the puppet string pullers, as I often call them, who are trying to set up this global system, have been for centuries now. In fact, it was Adam Weishaupt who back in 1776 set up the Illuminati. And now I'm not talking about conspiracy theory here. This is documented fact that this group indeed did exist. In fact, the government of Germany officially banned the Illuminati. I think it was in the early 1790s, but some of their aspirations have already been made known, such as they wanted to completely destroy Christianity and to overthrow all civil governments to be replaced by this singular government controlled by them. And a lot of their goals and aspirations kind of manifested in the early days, like in the case of the French Revolution, which what your history books may not tell you is that they manipulated the food market by withholding grains, and of course you get massive upheaval, uprising in the streets, and that's when Marie Antoinette allegedly said, "Let them eat cake." Of course, the people rise up, and what did we see? We saw the overthrow of that monarchy, and they were able to install their system of democracy, which is a lot more easy to control. It's a lot more easy to manipulate people when they have the illusion of choice. And when you have the illusion of choice, but you control both sides, it's a lot easier to manipulate people. So, and incidentally, I feel that is a lot of what we're been seeing around the world recently, especially in the last 5 years in the Middle East. The amount of regime changes that are going on is staggering, because the ones who are pulling the strings are getting their ducks in a line. They're setting up the world and preparing everything to be united under this global umbrella. Now, why the Vatican? Why now with the Vatican? Well, if you're trying to set up this singular, unite everything together under this singular umbrella, and you see that there's this organization there that has, over 1 billion followers, with one man at the top of it all, you're going to want a piece of that. You're going to want to get in on that. You're going to want to make sure you control that so that you can steer it into your desired direction. So I think that's some of the case of what we've seen there in the Vatican. I feel it's been compromised. I feel that it was infiltrated a long time ago, and it's being used to steer people in this direction. Now, having said that, something a lot of you might not know about me is I am indeed a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe he is the Son of God. I'm a huge fan of everything he's ever done. Now, that being said, at the same time, I fully understand how organized religion is used by the elite to manipulate people, to control people through fear, to brainwash people. So I don't subscribe to any particular denomination of Christianity. I'm just a guy who has a one-on-one personal relationship with his creator. And anyways, I'm getting off topic, but I guess I just wanted to let you guys know that moving forward. I mean, I've been involved in the fight against the New World Order for well over 10 years now, and I'm going to continue this and kick up my efforts and continue to do it. And I just, I hope that you guys will continue to stick with me on this journey that I've embarked upon. Anyways, I'm getting off topic again. The point is, when you see these solutions coming from places like the Vatican calling for this global centralized banking system, red flags should be going off in your head and saying this is going to lead us towards more slavery, more of a tyrannical, fascist takeover. Okay? And I think a lot of the real issues are not being addressed. I know, from talking to a lot of the Occupy Toronto protesters over the last few days, I've come across a lot of socialists and anti-communist kind of people, but I've also come across a lot of people who are well aware of the problems with centralized banking and the problems with private banks and the practice of fractional reserve lending, and the whole fact that in Canada anyways, we're borrowing from private banks when we don't need to be. The Bank of Canada can be printing our own money interest-free. So I don't think that voice is necessarily getting out there, because the mainstream media is saying that what these people want is more taxes for the rich and less benefits for corporations. And yeah, I mean, major corporations being in bed with government is certainly an issue. It's a problem that needs to be addressed. But to just say what we want is more taxes for the rich, for somebody here in Canada that makes more than 200 grand a year, to just say that the problem's going to be fixed by raising their taxes. I mean, it's not going to benefit them. It's not going to benefit you, me, anybody, except for the very system which we're trying to expose and trying to fight against. So anyways, guys, I guess that's it for this week. It's a lot to chew on, I know, but I just saw this article yesterday, and I thought, I better mention something about this, because this is exactly what I was worried about. This is exactly what we need to keep an eye out for, that we don't move into this direction, which is only going to move us one step closer to this goal of the New World Order. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening to me. Feel free to comment on some of the things I've said. I hope you go easy on me. Again, I hope you stick with me in my my journey here. And until next week, I'll talk to you again soon. Take care, guys.